Zelensky's term would have normally expired last year, except for the fact that Ukraine is still under martial law because of Russia's invasion. It hasn't had new elections. Meanwhile, Russia is continuing its aerial.
You are watching Notary Voice. Today we'll talk about the political and military situation in Ukraine, where Russia's attacks and tough conditions are colliding with the West's divided response. Let's begin by listening to President Volodymyr Zelensky's reaction to the Russian strikes and the stalled negotiations.
Overnight, Russia launched nearly 600 drones and some 40 missiles across Ukraine, even hitting an American-owned factory in western Ukraine. 15 people injured there. Zelensky condemned the attack, saying that there is still no sign that Moscow is going to engage in meaningful negotiations to end the war. And joining me now is my colleague at the White House, Monica Alba. Monica, I was over there a short time ago. We were talking about this very issue. And for all the urgency we saw in recent days after the Putin meeting with the Europeans and Zelensky at the White House, now it feels like we're sort of in that stall period to some degree. Are you getting the sense from the White House that there is some frustration, perhaps, with the Russians, that this isn't moving more quickly toward a face-to-face?
Well, I have to tell you, Peter, it was a week ago that we were in Alaska covering that meeting, and coming out of it, you're exactly right. President Trump said his goal was to set the table for the next meeting, for that potential meeting between Presidents Putin and Zelensky, and then a trilateral meeting that would include President Trump as well. But now we're getting both some mixed signals and some notable silence on this topic. Exactly what they are thinking about that bombardment of an American business you just mentioned, or the comments from the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, today pouring cold water on any.
As you heard, Russia's drone and missile attacks have not stopped, but in fact escalated. Even an American-owned factory was targeted, showing clearly that Moscow is not moving towards serious peace talks, but rather increasing the pressure. The question now is, how ready are the United States and Europe to handle this? Washington insists that diplomacy is taking place behind closed doors, but in reality, progress looks painfully slow. Now, let's hear what experts have to say.
It feels like he's throwing up roadblocks because he is throwing up roadblocks. The Russians aren't serious about wanting peace. They want to prosecute the war. They think the time is on their side. They can wear down Ukraine. The only thing that surprises me at all is it's so clumsy, it's so heavy-handed. Ruling out this or that security assurance, setting preconditions for meeting with President Zelensky, that they won't achieve their goal of having the breakdown of diplomacy blamed on Ukraine. So to me, the only really interesting question is now what the United States does. Where are the severe consequences for Russia? And sanctions aren't the severe consequence, to be honest. The severe consequence is a clear, open-ended American commitment to Ukraine's defense, military aid, intelligence, what have you. We'll see if that is forthcoming.
So let's talk about that. The severe consequences, you make an important point there, right? The president, remember, he said before he met with Vladimir Putin, he said, hey, I'm going to be unhappy if there is not a ceasefire here. Not only was there not a ceasefire, he actually then sort of embraced Vladimir Putin's view, which is they should go straight to a peace deal. It's not clear why a ceasefire would be an obstacle to a peace deal. But then in terms of those severe consequences, you mentioned the potential for some military engagement here by the United States. The president has said it's not going to be boots on the ground. He'd embrace, would be open to a European peacekeeping force there. What is the U.S., do you think, in a position that it could or should do here? Is it military air support? Is that enough? Is it some sort of command position overseeing what's going on in Ukraine in terms of a peacekeeping force, so the Russians feel like there's real teeth?
I think all that's wildly premature because there's no peace to keep. And we're not going to put boots on the ground.
As the experts pointed out, the real issue is not just negotiations, but whether the United States and Western allies provide Ukraine with open-ended defensive support. Without that, Russia believes time is on its side, and that is why it keeps dragging this war on. The impact will not stop at Ukraine alone. It also sends a dangerous signal globally, especially regarding China and Taiwan, that land can be seized by force without consequence. This was today's update on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, where peace talks are stalling and risks are growing. What do you think? Could the United States actually leave Ukraine to stand alone? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more.